Okay, today is July 13th, 2005, and I'm Jessica Clark, the Teresa Mack Germans from Russia History Fellow and Coordinator for the Germans from Russia Oral History Project. It is a pleasure to visit with Gust Wanner in Wishick, North Dakota.
Well, my folks come from Russia in 1913.
Okay.
They had 7 children then already. And anyhow, my dad's name was John.
John?
My mother's name was Maria Koch.
Okay.
Koch Wanner.
Koch Wanner? Okay.
And well, anyhow, I got born here, south of town, about 5.5 miles south of Wishick.
Okay.
I was the second youngest of 10 children. And anyhow, my dad only lived about 6 years here, then he died.
Oh.
So there was a lot of children for mother to take care of.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always easy.
How did your dad die?
Huh?
How did your dad die?
Well, anyhow, they bought land. They couldn't take up no more land. Years before, like my uncle took up 2/4 of land, it didn't cost him nothing. All he had to do is pay taxes for 3 years. But when they come, there was no more to take up. So they didn't have that much money, but they had enough to make a down payment on 2/4 of land. But there's no house, nothing. So, anyhow, years ago, the relatives or the neighbors, they helped. They put up a barn, a wooden barn, and the house was with the barn, like they had in Russia. They were used to that. So they had one side of the barn was kind of a shed, and that was the house.
Okay.
They put a ceiling in with ceiling boards, and some of the kids slept upstairs.
Really?
In the barn. Well, it wasn't the barn, it was supposed to be the house. The other side was the chickens and cows. Well, they didn't have too many cows, but 2, 3, a couple of horses. And there was no land to seed yet either. They first had to break sod. So the first year they broke 40 acres. They had somebody plow it for them, put flax in. But that's the way they had to build up till they got more land to seed. So I know it's pretty rough times. Anyhow, my uncle and I have a few cousins. They used to live all close by here to Wishick, and they mostly all helped to build the barn. So when the barn was done, well, they're going to build a house, and that is going to build with sod. So then they start breaking up sod, and had to be laid till it was up, the wall.
Did you?
But that took time.
Yeah. Did you live in the sod house?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I used to sit in there, see that was so wide there, the windows on the sills. You could sit in there and play.
Oh my goodness.
I used to sit in there quite a bit. And it was just like it then, you sit in on the window.
And you played in there?
Yeah, anyhow, then the house got done, but took a while. I don't know. I don't think it got done the first year no more. We lived in that shed by the barn.
Do you remember
But I wasn't born then yet.
Okay.
But Anyhow, then the year my dad died, that year they started building the wooden house. It wasn't even done yet when Dad passed away.
How did your dad pass away?
Well, he had panic, and them days why you didn't have cars. You'd had to go with the train to Bismarck, and it was already ruptured. So the doctor said it's no use to go.
Did your mom remarry?
Huh?
Did your mom remarry after your dad died?
Well, no, the mom was with us kids, well, but it was rough at times. Like, we talked when we were out to this Jehovah's cemetery, our minister, and I said, I remember those old owners that are buried there. I says, he was selling flour and coal, and he was buying cream. And I said there was many times he laid a sack of flour and back in the buggy. And my mother said, we haven't got no money now. He said, don't you worry, don't you worry. I said, nowadays you wouldn't do that.
No.
He says, you pay when you can, if not, you wait till fall. And then you pay. And with 10 children, you needed a lot of flour.
Yeah.
In fact, they baked about 2 times a week, or 3 times sometimes. I remember that when they baked.
Oh. How many boys were in the family?
Huh?
How many boys were in the family? How many boys were in the family? And girls?
It's 5 and 5.
Oh my goodness. 5 and 5.
5 kids, but there's none alive. I'm the only one. For about 8 years I'm alone.
Really?
They're all gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I didn't think I'd get that old either. But
Still kicking.
Here I am. Yeah, they were rough times. 'Cause in fact, there was many times Mother cried. She said we should go back to Russia again. And boy, then the war had broke out. It wouldn't.
Not a good time to go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what were your brothers and sisters like? What was it like growing up with 10 kids?
Oh, our wooden house was bigger than it. It had 2 bedrooms upstairs.
Okay.
And of course, usually the girls slept in one end and the
Okay.
boys in one end, mother and the youngest daughter, she usually slept downstairs
Oh, okay. Okay.
in the living room.
Okay. So
There was a kitchen and living room.
So girls and boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when you had to go out, you had to go to the outhouse.
No bathroom.
Sometimes in the night, when it was cold, I usually ate for the barn.
How did you keep warm back then?
Well, that's another thing. We used to put the manure and kind of spread it out about this high.
Okay.
Then in the summertime, we took the horses, put them around there and tramped it. And when we waited a few weeks, let it rain on, then we packed it again till it was packed good. Then, usually, Mother always said, if you get that spaded and put up by the 4th of July, you can go to the July.
Oh, so what?
So we spaded it, and we put one like this, then one this, and that's the way in rows.
Huh.
When it was dry, then we put it up on shucks. And late in the fall, we put it up on a stack, big stack. I got a book there, I'll show you.
Okay.
And anyhow, I used to get it there with the wheelbarrow, and Mother always laid the steak. That was our job, mine to get it there, and she laid it up. Sorry, steaks.
Did it stink?
She sometimes stood on a little step ladder.
Did that stuff stink?
And that's what we used in the kitchen. We never used coal because we didn't have money to buy that coal. We used coal only in the night time in the living room. There we had a round pot-bellied stove, and we put lignite coal in there. But the kitchen, we always, in the evening, sometimes I remember I got that into a big washtub full of manure, piled up. That was all evening long, one had to put in to keep it warm.
So, but did it put off like a smell? Did it stink in the house?
I don't think it made any smell even.
So,
Well, mostly everybody used that set. We weren't the only ones.
that was a common thing?
Well, some that had a little more money, they could use coal, but we were just glad to have enough money to keep the living room warm.
Yeah.
And upstairs there was no fire. There's just a hole with the vent.
Oh.
Sometimes we sat on there and warmed our bottle.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, those were the good old days.
So, what was 4th of July like?
Well, 4th of July, sometimes I still remember when they had foot races or some went into bags and so.
Oh. Did you do the big?
I never, my brother went in, he won a few times in the races. Well, he didn't get much. Sometimes a bottle of pop or something. He didn't get much money either. We usually got a quarter, so.
Okay.
There wasn't room for one buggy, the family was too big. But we had neighbors that were only a mile and a half, and some of us rode with them with the buggy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way we went to the funeral too when my dad died. That I remember.
You remember the
I
funeral?
don't remember much from my dad because I was only 3.5 years old when he died.
Do you remember the funeral?
Oh, I remember the funeral. I remember we rode with the neighbors, some of us kids, the buggy. Oh, that had 2 seats on.
Oh, okay.
So there was room for about 6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even for a sack of flour in the bag.
Make do with what you have.
No, we went to church. My mother always said to go to church. She wanted us to go to church mornings and evenings. And with the horses and this. We didn't know no different. We went in, got the horses ready. Well, I had the bigger boys done that, but remember we went with the buggy.
What church did you go to?
Oh, the Lutheran church
The
here.
Lutheran.
There was a small one then, but at the same spot.
Really?
Yeah, where this one is.
Oh my goodness.
And then a few years afterwards, they put up a bigger one, but it was only just one way.
Oh, okay.
Then another few years, they built on another angle this way, because the church got bigger. And, I remember the church wasn't too big yet this way.
Okay.
Oh, they probably was about 40 members. So,
Really?
yeah, but then it got bigger.
How many members are there right now?
Oh, 300 some.
Really?
Yeah. You mean when they started it?
Mm-hmm.
There was only, I think, 18.
Oh, really?
18 members.
And what is there today?
Well, not today, it's over 300.
Today it's over,
Yeah.
so 18 and then 40 and then...
Yeah.
So it's growing over the
Yeah.
years.
There was already more when my folks come in, but like my uncle, Jacob, he was one of the first ones, about them 18 that started the church.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but when my folks come, there was more members already.
Okay. Huh. Do you remember confirmation?
Confirmation? Well, yeah.
What was that like?
Well, it was all German then.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, even when I got confirmed, my mother was sick too then, and times were tough. There's a lady in town and she said, he can stay at our place for nothing. We don't want anything.
Really?
For 7 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
So I stayed there, which I had learned everything at home. My mother she was a teacher in Russia.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
she
my-
could teach German and Russian.
Oh my goodness.
And
Oh.
anyhow, they didn't take anything. But then, just the last week, they went ahead, they butchered a little pig, and they gave them that pig, and they were so glad to have that meat. See, they weren't worth much money then,
Yeah.
the pig, but they were glad to have that.
Huh.
So, but we learned all the verses in the catechism,
Okay.
so at home. I knew everything at home. But I had a guy with me, and the minister always said to that guy, if you wouldn't have Gust with you, you'd be in a rough shape. If he didn't know it, then he kind of pointed to me and I told him.
Who was the minister back then?
Ah,
What was the name of the minister back then? Who was your minister?
at that time, Freimann.
Friday?
It was one from Germany.
Okay.
He couldn't talk English.
Oh.
He was a real German.
Okay.
But I got along good with him. And then, well, he went out the country to visit sick people at times too. So usually he took me along
Really?
in case I got stuck in snow or so. See, the confirmation was always in the spring of the year. So by Palm Sunday we got confirmed always.
Okay.
So there was snow at times and he took me along to help him.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he always went to people's house and said a little prayer, read from the Bible. Little.
What was school like back then?
Ah,
School.
school.
Yeah, what was it school like back then?
Well, we had just a one-room schoolhouse when I first started, and it was small too, and there was about 23 kids, and they were all grades together.
23.
2 miles we had, and we walked most of the time.
Oh. Oh my goodness. And that's first through 8th grade?
That was south of Wishick.
South of Wishick?
And,
Okay. Huh.
and anyhow, we, just when the wife passed away, I got to tell you this, our oldest daughter was here. She said she'll stay here a few days from Bismarck. We usually have church in the afternoon here, right here at the home.
Okay.
Anyhow, she said, if you want to go to church, Dad, I'll go with you. Well, I said, if you go with, I'll go. But so we went to church, and anyhow, the minister was from Lair, a Methodist minister. We got different ones here. Anyhow, it was just before graduation there, and he talked about graduation. And he says, how many of you graduated in here? Our daughter put the hand up. I did too. He says, where did you graduate? To me. First he asked Sally. She says, well, right here in town, she said. Well, where did you graduate? She said to me. I said, in Danzig. Where's Danzig? He says. Yeah, I said it was a town. We used to go there. That 2 stores and that creamery and I don't know, a bank. And we wrote the 8th grade exam there. There was 4 of us from our school.
Really?
Yeah. Then he kept talking some more about graduation. Finally he said, well, how many of you passed high school? Got through high school? Sally put her hand up. I did too. He looked. He says, well, I suppose you graduated here, he said to Sally. Yeah, she says. And where did you graduate? I said, the American School of Chicago. How so? He says. I said, through correspondence.
Really?
And not only that, I said, I graduated the same day as our daughter did.
Oh my goodness.
He couldn't figure out. I said that before I mentioned that I went to American School of Chicago. And he couldn't figure out both. We got our diploma the same day. I says, I didn't go with the bunch, but I could have.
Oh my goodness.
I could have went with the bunch, but I didn't. I thought maybe some of them wouldn't.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a good story. That's good.
Then I even started at Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin,
Oh.
through correspondence. I went away there, but then they wanted me to be a resident student for 8 months. I said, I don't think so. Well, our youngest daughter, she was just ready to get college.
Yeah.
So she said, we'll go down there once. And look, if I like it, then we can both go there. There's 3 colleges down in Madison.
Oh my goodness.
Madison is kind of a town. It's water all around.
Okay.
Just like an island.
Oh, I bet it's
Anyhow, she went to some of them. She said, no, she doesn't like it. I said, I'll forget it too. I'm too old for this. But I had enough school. I took up animal husbandry.
Oh.
And I could do anything. I done the wet work like anywhere here. But I couldn't charge a full amount. But whatever people wanted to give me, I took calves out the side. I even castrated roosters.
Oh my
Well, I had to post the pictures and everything through school. My books cost $300 some. And one lady from northeast of Bernstein called one night. I done worked there before. She called one night. She says, well, could you make capons out of the roosters? I said, I think I could. I've never done it, I said, but if I take the book along, I can do it. I know I can. So we made a dozen. It wasn't hard to do either. Yeah, I had the book there, and to castrate them, you got to go under the right wing. There's a kind of a dip. There you go in with a hook knife, and you go up. Don't ever go downwards. Go straight up, and you're bound to hook them. I went up. There comes one out.
Oh my God.
Again, the other one. So we made 12 of them. And by Thanksgiving time, they were so heavy, she said there were some that weighed 16 pounds.
Oh
They
my
couldn't walk no more. She had to butcher them. No, I done a lot of veterinarian work then for a number of years. I still done it till I was up to 80, then I quit.
So when you were a child,
Huh?
when you were a child, did your mom have a lot of animals?
I didn't get there.
Did your mom have a lot of animals when you were growing up?
Oh
On the
yeah,
farm?
they had. Well, there's one time I know we milked 23 cows, and they were all sick. The kids, they had diphtheria, only me and my mother. And the doctor said, you'll never get it. He looked in my mouth, he said, you'll never get it. And same with mother.
Really?
So we had to milk them 23 cows.
Oh.
And she probably only milked about 5. The rest I had to milk. It took a couple hours.
Oh my goodness.
We done that for over a week. They wouldn't dare go out of the house.
Yeah.
And nobody couldn't go in. There was a sign up, diphtheria, by the door. But the doctor said he'll tell the neighbors to come, but he can't go in the house, but he can talk into the window. So if he needs something or so. See, at that time I couldn't drive yet.
Okay.
But
When was that? What year was that?
what year?
Yeah.
I was about 16 years old,
Okay. Okay.
and now I'm going on 90. So it's quite a while back.
Okay. Did all of the kids survive? Did they all get better after that?
Oh, they all got okay, but they had to stay in the house. They had to have shots, but when he looked at me, he said, he'll never get it. He don't need no shot.
Huh.
But he seen it there, I don't know.
Something good.
It was a good thing, too. Mother could have never milked all them cows.
What other type of work did you have to do when you were a kid? What type of work, chores, did you do when you were a kid? To help your mom? Besides milking cows, did you have to to hay fields or anything?
Well, I had to help up with everything there.
Okay.
It was in the summertime, so it wasn't so bad. It wasn't the spring, summer, it was warm, but that's what made it misery for the kids
Yeah.
to stay in the house there.
Warm.
I was lucky.
What was the weather like back then?
Oh, it was really different. We got a lot more snow then,
Yeah.
so, and cold too. I remember we walked to school. One morning I come down, I hear this big. The teacher got ice and she put ice on. I had to stay home from school for a few days.
Oh my goodness.
The northwest wind hit that. I had the cap over, but still the wind blew in. It was about 40 below. We didn't know we couldn't walk to school.
What were summers really warm?
Well, I don't think not as warm as now, no.
Okay.
It's getting warmer. Seems like every year it's getting more warm.
Okay.
Lasts longer.
Yeah.
But snow, I remember when I was young, one morning we woke up, the snow as high as the barn. You couldn't go in the front door, and you couldn't
Really?
leave the cows out or the horses.
So how did you get to the
We had a
animals?
little door in the back on the other end that was locked, so we could go in there to milk the cows. The neighbor come, he had one of them, put two horses on a little scraper like,
Oh, so you got...
and they worked for 2 days till they got the snow.
Oh my goodness.
Then I didn't milk it, but I remember it.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah. I remember when they built that highway going south.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. Old man Wishick, they named the town after him.
Okay.
He got buried in the winter time. They was just working on that road, and there was a lot of snow too then. But I don't know offhand what year it was. But I think it was I think about 28 and 29,
Okay.
around that time.
Huh.
There's no road before, that's just country roads. You went with the buggy, a wagon.
What types of things did you do for fun back then?
Oh, yeah, we did such. We played in the snow,
Yeah?
made fox and goose ring, stuff like that.
Okay.
But
With your brothers and sisters?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But there was no toys for us. I had one little buggy with a horse on. It was made out of tin, only so wide. And I always had it set on top of the door frame. And that had kind of given away, that frame. That horse fell in there. And I wanted the boys to take it out. No,
No.
that cannot be done, they said. You're on the plaster. They never took it out. I think the guy who took the house down found the horse.
Oh. Oh
He
my.
didn't have no toys.
So, did you play cards? Did you...
Yeah, Mother didn't like it, but sometimes when she had company and the door was closed, we played anyhow.
Okay.
And when we went to church, sometimes we got a nickel, sometimes a dime, but not too often. In the drugstore, that was always open Sundays and Sunday evenings.
Okay.
And they had kind of stools there, you could sit down and have ice cream. Or for a nickel you could get a cone of ice cream, sometimes double decker.
Oh my goodness.
For a dime you could have an ice cream sundae. 15 cents, a milkshake.
Huh.
But we didn't have that too often, mostly a nickel. We got it. We were glad to get that. Well, there we went with the sled. We had big bobsled.
Okay.
Sometimes we hooked on behind and started running. Our feet got cold. But Ma usually put a big feather ticking, she called it.
Okay.
And we laid in there and covered up
That's how you
But
kept warm.
sometimes it got cold anyhow, the feet. So you get up and run a while behind.
Oh
It's
my
like,
goodness. Oh my goodness. Huh.
and at that time they had a place in town here. They called it the livery stable. So you could put your horses there. So,
Oh.
'cause they were sometimes sweaty when you got in. You couldn't leave them set out.
How far out of town did your family live?
5.5 miles.
So it was a long drive in with the
But
horses.
we usually made the horses go so you got in. They didn't go slow.
Huh. What other types of stuff did you do when you were in town? What other types of things would you do when in town? In Wishick when you were a kid? Besides ice cream at the groceries, at the drugstore.
Oh, I don't know. Can't think of right now.
Okay.
But actually when we got in, there wasn't usually that long we were in. Usually when we went to church, Mother usually visited some of her friends that she knew from the old country.
Okay.
And then she said we could go to the drugstore, but that was about it. Probably an hour or so, 2 hours at the most. Otherwise we didn't get to town. 4th of July is once in a while. Not always either. We had to get that manure ready.
Chores done before fun? Did you know your grandparents? Did you know your grandparents?
No.
No.
No, I don't even know my dad much.
Yeah.
My uncle, I knew.
Your uncle, your dad's brother or your mom's brother? Your uncle.
My dad's brother.
Your dad's brother.
Yeah, Jacob. But they're all gone too.
Yeah.
There's none alive no more. But then the other brother that died in Russia, we had 9 boys. There's still one left in Germany, and some of the younger ones from them boys. You know, when there's 9 boys, just a lot of kids,
Yeah.
and especially them days. They usually had about 8, 10.
Yeah. How many kids did your Uncle Jacob have? How many children did
My
your uncle have?
I think they had 10 too.
They had 10 too, so
That was usually a pretty good sized family.
lot of help around the house.
But I got a book here from 39, which the guy took the pictures when we went to voting, and the same time we had to sign up for the draft for the service.
Oh,
That was in 39.
okay.
And anyhow, that guy who took the picture, they had 15 children.
Oh my goodness. So did you serve in World War II? Did you serve in the war?
No.
No.
No, that's another thing. I didn't pass then. I had been doctoring. I had troubles with the gland, thyroid gland they called it. I don't know. I got no trouble with it now. But at them days, and I didn't pass. Well, in fact, I would have went to service, but that's another thing. We kept moving. The minister said, well, how come, he says, first when you got married, you moved to Minneapolis. From there you moved to Vancouver, Washington.
You were in
From,
Washington.
yeah,
That's
not
where
quite
I'm
a
from.
year.
That's where
Vancouver.
I'm from. In Washington State is where I'm from.
I worked at the shipyards, Vancouver,
Really?
Washington.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then from Vancouver, we come back, and I never did like it out there. I didn't like it because it rained so much.
All the time?
Yeah. We sometimes got soaking wet. And then while the sun come out, it had to dry on us.
Yep.
Then he says, then you went back on the farm. Yeah, we had a little money. I made good money out the shipyard.
Yeah.
That's where I should have stayed.
Paid well?
But it's too late now. Anyhow, then we started farming. We had a little money, bought a little machinery and horses. In them days you could farm with horses yet. And farm 2 years, then the land got sold. I didn't get no money to buy land. You couldn't rent no more. Well, let's go to town. So we moved to town. Minister said, what did you do then? I said, I went as a butcher.
Really?
I said we moved to town and there was not much of anything going on. By the time we had a little house that paid for, and there was no more money left. I said, I don't know what will happen now. Well, we were out west to a wedding at New Leipzig. And when we come back, somebody said, there's a man, he's been looking for you. He wants somebody to butcher and feed cattle, stuff like that. But he'll be here. Sure enough, he come that night yet. He says, if I want to work there. I says, yeah, I suppose. He says, I'll pay $225 a month, which that was good money.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
So I took that. That's where I made another mistake. My brother actually said, he worked in the railroad, and he says, I'm pretty sure I could get you in there, because he knew the boss good.
Okay.
Besides, the boss was next to where we lived. So, sure enough, my brother left for Washington. His kids went out to Seattle, so he went out there. His boss come if I'd wanted to work there, the railroad. I said, I can't hardly leave. I just started this job. But I was foolish. I should have.
Yeah.
Then I worked there for, I think, about 6 years. I done the butchering, you name it.
Huh.
But it wasn't always rosy, but we always made it.
How did you meet your wife?
Oh, that's another thing. He says most of them, they just got the neighbors because you couldn't get away too far then. Well, that is another thing. Our mother got married in 36.
Okay.
She was alone all that time till 36. She got married to a guy by the name of Hohalder.
Okay.
And anyhow, my youngest sister and me, well, he said they could stay there, so we stayed with the Hohalders. They had kids too at home yet,
Okay.
so we were there. And then there was my wife, they were neighbors there, only about 2 miles away. We got over there.
You met her
that wasn't it. I even went with her sister first.
Really?
Yeah. But she hired out to a place up north of town. I couldn't get there.
Okay.
So I started dating her.
Huh. Huh.
She didn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
I
What types of things did you do on a date?
What
would you do on a date back then? Since you couldn't go a lot of places, what types of things would you do when you were dating?
What I was doing?
Yeah, what would you do on a date?
Well, when we went to Minneapolis. See, that's when we got married. There was no money.
Okay.
In fact, my brother got married once, and I had a little bit of money then, so I borrowed him money for his wedding. Then when I got married, I had to go to him and borrow a little. So there was no money, no jobs hardly to get anywhere. And then my brother was in Minneapolis, and some of my sisters too. My brother says, you can find work down here. I didn't even want to get married, but the wife says, we'll get married, we'll find something. Yeah. So we went to Minneapolis, and I finally she got work before I did.
Really?
She got housework, and that time they had housework all over advertised. She didn't get that much money, but she got, I think, about $8-10 a day.
Every
That
little
was
bit?
money then.
Yeah.
And finally I got work too at a donut shop, just making donuts. I just put it on it. I had to mix the dough in a mixer, big mixer, and then I had to put it in another container, and that just always dropped the donut out, 2 on a tray. And the tray went way around. I was making donuts all day. I got $18. No, $12 a week.
$12 a week. Oh my goodness.
That was money then.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. What was it like when you got electricity and all of the...
That's when I started at the butcher shop.
At the butcher shop?
There, we had a neighbor. He had just started International here in town, selling them, and he had TVs. He says, well, you could buy a TV. Well, our boy usually went over and watched at their place, TV. He said, you could buy one. You make a down payment, pay monthly, which we did.
Oh my goodness.
Had a Senate TV, and we still got a Senate. That was the first TV.
Oh my goodness.
That was about in 46.
46? What about a telephone? The first time you had a telephone?
When we moved to town, we got the phone in.
Got the phone in town?
Yeah, that was the beginning of... No, that was about that time too, about 46.
Okay. What about electricity?
Oh, when we got to town, we had electric lights.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that it was already here
Yeah,
when you got into
yeah.
town? Okay.
I bought a little house. It wasn't big. For $600.
A house for $600. Oh,
What, that had 2 rooms.
enough for you?
And
$600.
there was no money left by the time we had the house, the basement made, the house and everything. I said, I don't know what'll happen now, got to get work. So
That's when you went to the
that's
butcher?
why he says, well, the minister says, well, I don't know, you tried everything. I says, I had to. There was no choice.
Had to survive.
Yeah. And one time, that wasn't the 30s yet. That's right away when my mother had gotten married. Well, a lot of kids went out to Montana to work in the beach and so. So I was looking to get out there too. A guy that I knew, he went to California. He says, I'll take you along to Hardin, Montana, the beach country there, for $5. Why, I said, that's all right. I didn't have much money either, but for $5 you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So he left me off at Hardin and he left for California. Now, they usually had a place in Hardin. I was out there a couple times. They had usually a place where they had building where they had a sign where you could find work. So I looked there. Well, there was a place, but about 3 miles out. Well, I didn't have much money, so I went to the store and I bought a couple cans of pork and beans. I started walking out that way. I thought to myself, I better eat them beans before. So I sat in the ditch and I ate them 2 cans of beans.
Oh my goodness.
Then when I got out to that place, he said, they've got enough help now. But he says, my brother, he's looking for help. Not for thinning beets, most likely for irrigating. If you could do that, well, it says I can try. And so I went over there and I started irrigation even. You had to dike it so the water goes this way and that. I've done mostly everything.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You've done everything.
There's a guy in here. He's 92 years old. He says, you should really have a big book made of what all you've done. And them kids would really open their eyes.
No kidding. No kidding. That is true. Oh my goodness.
And I didn't even say it then, after I was done at the butcher shop. See, they couldn't butcher no more. They come to government inspection.
Oh yeah.
That was out. Well, that's, I don't know, we haven't got no work that we can keep you, so. Oh, he says, I don't know, but we'll try to look around for you. Well, that was another slim chance. Anyhow, I worked on a ranch. I got a job there at the ranch. There I got $250 a month.
Whoa.
And being that I could do all this animal work, like in cows or so, they didn't need to wet much. I could do mostly anything. So he says, I'll pay you extra for whatever you work on cattle or do this and that. So otherwise I got $250 a month, but I made money extra then.
By working with the animals?
So it was quite a bit better. And finally, I don't know, I decided I should go on my own. So I started doing carpenter work.
You have done everything.
So we took down houses and we built houses. I never built a new house, but I built on houses. One place we built on a double garage plus a breezeway in between and different things, but never built a new house.
Just made
And
it bigger.
built a lot of pole barns. There was One guy west of town here, we put up 3 pole barns. Every other year we put another one up.
Oh my goodness.
Done a lot of that work, single work, you name it. That I done till I was 80. Then I got cancer. I had cancer, prostate cancer, which when I was done with the cancer treatments, I said to the cancer doctor, well, if I feel all right, if I should go back to work again, if I could. He said, you better not. If you want to live a few years, you better quit. So I quit when I was 80. Now it's just about 10 years. By spring it'll be 10 years.
Really?
I'll be 90 then.
In April, huh?
I think I still could do carpenter work. If it wouldn't be for my hip.
Your hip. So, how long were you married to your wife?
How long?
Were you married?
We had our 65th wedding anniversary, that picture there,
Oh.
last fall.
Oh, 65 years.
That's where we got them little tractors. Our granddaughter made those.
Okay.
Then I started making them too. I can make anything. I used to make woodwork, this there, on the
napkin?
table.
You
I
made
made that.
Oh, get a shot of that, honey.
But I got rid of all the tools. After I had cancer, I didn't care about this no more. I gave that up. But I done ceramic works, you name it, beaded work.
So what do you do now?
And I still do things now,
Like what? What do you do now?
like the
Do you
tractors I
make the
made.
tractors
These.
now?
I can make anything. I think I can reach it.
Here, we can take this
And
off.
no, leave it on.
Okay.
You just hand that bird there. That's on a wire.
Oh, this?
I made those too. Woodpeckers.
Oh.
Sometimes I got up too high.
Goodness. That is cool.
I made a lot of those. I
You-
sold some way out to California,
Really?
all over.
I bet the grandkids like it.
Oh yeah.
That is really cool.
I made some that I went ahead and I bought the feathered birds from the hobby shop. Their tails are twinkles.
Oh my goodness.
They're better than these. But that's the first ones I made.
How'd you get this idea to make something like that?
That's another thing. We went to flea markets. I started to buying stuff or making stuff. And that's at the flea markets. If you had one of them going, people come to look at it, and they always stopped and bought something.
Huh.
That was a catcher.
That's really creative.
And beaded work I done a lot.
We'll
I
have you
think
hold
I
that.
gave you one.
Yeah, we're going to have you hold it though on the camera.
Huh?
Hold it for a second on the camera
Oh.
so that the camera can see that that's what you were talking about. That's really cool.
Get some of the beaded things there.
Oh.
You can have them too.
These,
I got lots of them.
this here? You do those too?
You can have that.
Oh, thank you.
If this fits you, if not, I got smaller ones.
Oh yeah, that fits.
That's a little big.
Yeah, a little loose. So
You can have that.
how long does it take to make this?
This. Oh, so it's about 5 minutes.
Really?
Them I made a lot of them. I had some in the showcase down here at times.
That's beautiful. That is so cool.
That's a little big, I think, though.
Yeah, just a little loose.
I think I got smaller ones.
Okay.
Before you go,
Okay.
I'll look once.
That'd be cool. Thank you.
But that one there, you can take.
Okay.
He can use that to put the car keys in.
Yes. It'll help us keep track of them. And then do you collect bears? Or was that did you collect all the bears back here?
No, I
Is that your
didn't
wife?
make them.
Do you collect them?
Uh,
Or is that your wife's?
no. A lot of them I got free.
Okay, okay.
I had a big one, a white one. But the great-granddaughter, last time she was here, she says, could I have that bear? I says, if you want it so bad, yes. But a lot of those, they were free.
Okay. So you have 3 kids? 3?
We got 5 grandkids
5
and 5 great-grandkids. 5 and 5.
Do you see your great-grandkids very often? Do you see them very often?
Well, yeah, those great-grandkids in Bismarck, they come pretty often. The grandson usually brings them down. But the one granddaughter, she's down in Washington, D.C.
Really?
She got a job at Ken Conrad, the senator.
Oh my goodness.
There's a picture from Oregon. We got that for our anniversary.
Which one?
That picture there with the White House in the bag.
Back here?
That's from Pomeroy. But we got one with the gold one on
Oh my
from
goodness.
Conrad. The same as this.
65th anniversary.
That's for our anniversary.
Oh. Well, can we take a picture of this? Can we take a picture of this? He has a camera. Can we take a picture?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, that's really cool. Did you want to see?
The one from Conrad that's got a gold one on.
Oh my goodness.
That's in your bedroom if you want to get it out.
Yeah.
Go get it. It's right on the dresser there. That looks nicer.
Oh my goodness. That's neat.
But at that time she didn't work there yet.
She didn't work there
She,
yet.
she went to Moorhead, to Concordia College.
Okay.
And she's pretty sharp.
Well, yeah, she must be if she's over in D.C.
So actually she got 8 months paid school in Washington, D.C. Didn't cost a penny. Everything got paid. And then when she got done, now she got that job over there.
Oh, that's great.
She worked a little off and on there for Ken Conrad. But now she's got the job in there. So,
You have a lot to be proud of.